Whenever there's some big crisis like Hurricane Katrina, the earthquakes, the Syrian refugees, there's a huge spike in trafficking and missing kids because people take advantage of the lack of social systems and the displaced children. And in the Syrian refugee crisis, Trump signed an executive order that they couldn't come into America, and everything was making Turkey look really bad. And so the Turkish president hired Lindsay Lohan to clear all this up, fix her image, go on a tour, a press tour in America and in Turkey.
News published a piece wondering if Lohan was on Erdogan's payroll.
People did start to speculate that Lindsay was being paid off by the Turkish government to become a mouthpiece for their international affairs. People really started to think she was a plant after her appearance at a Syrian refugee camp.
What they've done in Turkey for the Syrian refugees is phenomenal.
It is how wonderful work they're doing for the refugees and how great the president was. And the president is a horrible man and is the reason they don't have a democracy anymore, and he's still the president right now. So isn't that interesting that Bashi's biggest point when she came on here was about the earthquake babies and how they were never kidnapped or trafficked, and we made it all up. I was so confused. I was like, why is she so hung up on this one random video I made reading off a comment that Kanol wrote saying, soon she will have orphaned earthquake babies to give out to people. And Bashi was like, I know everything about the earthquakes. I was involved in all of that. There was never any babies kidnapped. That is just a complete lie, she said. Okay, then why are there traumatized women who are horrified that babies were snatched outright from under them and sold into organ trafficking? And they're really pissed that Bashi is saying this because they were there. And so something that the Turkish president did with Lindsay is turn it all around on America and say America is oppressing her and she feels safer in Turkey and she feels profiled in America and it's dangerous in America and way safer in Turkey. Isn't that what Bashi made this all about? She said that this whole totu thing was about profiling and racism, and the earthquake babies was all made up because we're racist. Yeah, obviously the Turkish government didn't want that to get out about the earthquake babies because they were either allowing it to happen or participating in it. And if it didn't happen, why did they have 24/7 security on the babies who weren't taken? Because the ones before them were. So the Turkish president really, really cares about Turkey's image. Turkey and Azerbaijan are sister countries. There's even an old video of Bashi saying that they don't have freedom of speech in Turkey, and so she does it for them. The Turkish president knows how effective like celebrities are, like Lindsay Lohan. Right now, the big thing is TikTok, not celebrities. So of course he knows that's what you do to sway public opinion. Genius. This man is really good at PR. Remember I kept saying she has PR training? She totally does. And then you've got Salvatore, who left Azerbaijan because it was so dangerous and corrupt. Now she's defending Azerbaijan with her life. And I wonder if her citizenship was threatened or something. That actually makes me feel a little better because I never understood what happened to Salvatore. She totally switched up when she met Bashi. Bashi comes on the same day every totu account is banned and then leaves the country after completely defaming and slandering everyone, breaking a bunch of laws. Feels very planned. They literally had a fake Labradoodle, and she said it was hers because that makes you more personable. People see someone who has a dog and they immediately trust them. They think they're a kind, empathetic person. That wasn't her dog. It was a prop. I've been saying this all along. Genius PR. Crisis actors are a huge thing to cover up things like trafficking and all the missing children. The president has a history of doing this. And Turkey and Azerbaijan have a huge motive to cover up Kanol's crimes because if they prosecute her, that would be outing that her father is a criminal and involved in organized crime. And so that would be outing their own government that they had a corrupt politician working for them. He was a former deputy prime minister. So both countries have a reason to cover Kanol's ass, especially since they've gone this long without doing anything. It looks even worse that they're not doing anything, so now they have to make somebody convince people that she never did anything wrong. And this corrupt president, he's had a regime for 20 years. He's the reason Turkey no longer has a democracy and why they don't have a free country anymore. But he wants to keep the illusion that the people are free. He wants the citizens and the rest of the world to think Turkey is a civilized, safe, normal democracy with social systems in place that would take care of things like totu. Abuse of state resources, corruption, embezzlement, just crime all around, and he can't let that get out. This thing is so much deeper than we ever thought. Before Bashi came, I think I had one person out of millions disagree with me about Totu. One. And then she comes on, gets people confused. They trust her because she's the only one with information now, and she's Turkish, so people just trust her. And now there's all these fake accounts making crap about me. There's all these bots. There's all this reporting going on. It's so planned. Oh my god. And they will say anything to discredit me. She's just lying at this point, straight up lying. And the story changes for what they need for their argument to convince that person at that time. Like, first they say it's a shelter for sick kids, and they say, oh, well, they're abused because their parents did it to them. And it's a women and children's shelter. You're telling us that the kids are abused, and then they move into a shelter with their abusers who keep abusing them. So the parents are in the bunk beds at a shelter that allows abuse for their kids. Bashi still hasn't given any credentials or why she had every single court document, medical record in 1 second of talking to Kunal. She comes off as a washed up military brat. She probably had connections and they utilized her.